Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on just like the DC TV and Arrowverse stuff because we're talking about some Crisis stuff. So, Burn Baby Burn, Crisis Inferno. I think that's exactly what the Anti-Monitor, has been singing for, I guess, the past few months. You could argue almost a year. Like, no word of a lie. I was just in conversation with him over MSN Messenger, and he was saying that. So, bonus points to those that got that reference. But yeah, he is singing that as we lead up to the commencement of the new seasons or the new year of the Arrowverse shows, as well as the much anticipated crossover event. So that's been like, what, 6 or so years in the making, and that crossover event is, of course, Crisis on Infinite Earths. Now, yes, I know some people might have thought I was about to say the second installment of the Flash and Supergirl musical crossover, but that's something that I guess we'll have to wait and get. I don't know when the hell that will drop, but maybe on Disney Plus, who knows? That seems to be just doing everything over there. But in this video, we are going to be going over a bunch of Crisis-related information that was dropped or teased over the past, I'd say roughly a week or so, as well as just some general Arrowverse-related things and information as well. But the Crisis stuff will be the first things we go over in this video, so if you are impatient, don't worry. But of course, throughout the video, be sure to leave all of your various opinions and thoughts in the comments section down below, because a couple of things in here, especially one in particular, will make you go like, ooh, no, I don't think that's going to happen, or ooh, I do think that's going to happen. So be sure to leave all those various thoughts and stuff in the comments. And of course, if you're going to enjoy the video and you're just excited for what we go over, drop a like on it to show that support and hype. Takes 1, maybe 2 seconds if your mouse is a bit slow. So the first first two things, might I say, to go over actually relate to the two big bad beings, or not bad, just big beings. One of them's bad. So two big beings that will play a big role in Crisis on Infinite Earths, both played by the same actor. These characters, of course, being the Monitor and the Anti-Monitor, both played by LaMonica Garrett. Just, can I rewind that? No, we'll just continue. Now, to start off, the first thing to bring up is that it seems that LaMonica Garrett has had his molding and fitting done, or it's down now, for his Anti-Monitor getup. As you can see on screen right now, hopefully, unless I've lost the ability to actually put a video in, well, this video, but yeah, you can see all that goop and plaster or whatever it is that's placed over LaMonica's shoulders and head to get like the right dimensions and fittings and all that for his suit. Obviously, it will be very interesting to see what the final outcome is, I guess, with the Anti-Monitor and its look in Crisis. We did get that that concept art around, I think it was dropped on the day of the panels of the DC TV shows at San Diego Comic-Con this year. But things always don't look the same in real life compared to the concept art. They're usually pretty damn similar, but sometimes like the look of the material or how things just look in general are a bit off. But the suit is pretty much just the Monitor suit with a few little changes, and he will have some different stuff going on in regards to his, like, you know, face and head area. But the biggest difference, well, that's going to be his size. That will be like the craziest thing to see on screen, because we did get like a sort of like a ratio from like the Anti-Monitor size to just a regular human being size, and he's quite big. So it'll be interesting to see how that looks when we finally get to see the crossover, or possibly, if we're lucky, even in a trailer for the event like sometime before. Now, the next thing to go over, which is the second thing regarding the two big beings, I almost said big bads again, but two big beings in this Crisis on Infinite Earths event, involves both the Monitor, that was my dog sneezing in the background, as well as the Anti-Monitor. Now, this is coming from TV Line, I think it was, in their scoop sort of article place that they do every now and then. Now, someone simply asked if there was like any type of like Arrowverse scoop in general, not any specific show, just in general about the Arrowverse that TV Line had, and this is what they had to say back in reply to that question. For one, I am told that LaMonica Garrett, who plays the Monitor, and will also play the Anti-Monitor, will appear in 10 total episodes across the Arrowverse this season, Crisis crossover included. And speaking of Crisis on Infinite Earths, here's a pro tip from Flash boss, or the showrunner, Eric Wallace. Before I sit down to watch this year's crossover, I would really, in italics, rewatch all 3 episodes of Elseworlds, because it will enrich your viewing experience. Without giving away any spoilers, there are certain elements that will be revisited in Crisis that were very deliberately planted back then, and now we're going to pay off. Now, firstly, on like the whole LaMonica Garrett and his 10 appearances throughout the season, or this season of the Arrowverse. Now, we have 5 episodes of the Crisis event, so you'd have to think he's going to be in all those 5 episodes, both as either the Monitor or the Anti-Monitor. So that leaves us with 5 episodes of non-Crisis episodes for him to show up in, which could either be all before Crisis, or you never know, he might appear in like 1 or 2 episodes after. Who knows? I don't think he will, if you know the story, and I might allude back to the story of Crisis in a second, but I'd be very surprised if he appeared post-Crisis. Now, we know he will be in an episode of The Flash, that being the first episode of this season of The Flash, that being season 6, and he will most likely feature an Arrow. I don't think he's been confirmed for a specific episode of Arrow, but you'd think episode 1. And you'd also expect him in Supergirl as well for a bit, whether it be episode 1, 2, 3, or 7 or something like that. Now, they could make it that he appears just simply in at least one episode of every show that's going to feature in Crisis outside of Legends, because Legends won't have started by then. So, of course, Flash, Supergirl, and Batwoman, and then maybe 2 episodes of Arrow, just to set it up a bit more for Crisis. But due to Batwoman just like starting off and already being on Earth 1, she could be brought in without Monitor playing a role, and I guess it'd be a bit random, maybe her meeting the Monitor, because she never met the Monitor. That's an important thing to remember. The others did. She did it in the crossover, so it might be a bit weird if the Monitor just showed up to meet Batwoman. So I would say we would get Monitor in like 1 episode of Supergirl and The Flash each, and then maybe 3 appearances in Arrow, before Crisis starts. And that is just due to the premise of Arrow this season. Like, Oliver will most likely need some help getting to the various places he is going, unless he is maybe given tools or other people with powers to help him do that outside of the Monitor. Obviously, it's hard to tell at this point, but I think 3 episodes of Arrow and 1 episode each for Flash and Supergirl makes sense for these 5 appearances. If you disagree and have different thoughts or opinions, let me know in the comments. And with these appearances by LaMonica Garrett, obviously he will be playing, as I said, both Monitor and Anti-Monitor. And for those that know the story of Crisis in the comics, these appearances will differ, and it will be interesting to see if they stick with the story of these 2 characters in the comics, or if they change it up a bit to differ from each other and possibly maybe prolong certain aspects of the story. Not sure how they will do it, whether there will be a specific death or not, and it is pretty much impossible to tell at this point, but it will be something to keep an eye out for when the event eventually, rolls around. And as Eric Wallace says in that piece from TV Line, Elseworlds will be an essential rewatch by the sounds of it before Crisis, and I'll be doing that regardless. I didn't need Eric to say, look mate, you might want to do it. I'll be doing it anyway, and I do suggest that you guys do that as well. Not now, you can do it now if you want to, but maybe the weekend before the event starts. So what's that, I guess the first weekend of December, I think it would be, or something like that. So it'll only take up 2 hours of your time on Friday or Saturday at some point. Pretty easy. I'll remind you when we get to that point, but don't rush and do it now unless you really, really want to watch it, I guess. Now, there are some other little information drops that could be related to Crisis. The first one, which is a bit of a bombshell, I guess, especially if you're a Legends fan, was that Brandon Routh, who plays Ray Palmer, and Courtney Ford, who plays Nora Dark on Legends, are actually leaving Legends, and they're not leaving themselves. They're not like, oh, I want to go to a different show, I want to leave. They're actually being written out of the show. They're not leaving. So Brandon Routh seemed very annoyed at this news. There was and you could tell that through some of his social media comments. They weren't just, oh yeah, I'm really disappointed. He seemed almost annoyed. It was really weird. And I think even Guggenheim didn't have a play in it, and Guggenheim was sort of the one that was sort of set up Legends. So the whole thing's a bit weird. I don't know why they're getting rid of at least Ray Palmer especially, and then keeping some of the other characters on that show who aren't very good. Just telling the truth. There's a lot of crap characters on Legends at the moment. I'd say that half the team is arguably pretty crap, and Ray's actually a fairly strong character, so it's a bit weird that he's going, or they're writing him off and keeping the other characters around. But due to this, there was some speculation of Ray Palmer maybe dying in Crisis. As I sort of said in the beginning of the video, or towards the beginning, Legends actually starts after Crisis. The Legends episode of Crisis actually doesn't count towards their season. They're just calling it a Legends episode. It won't be episode 1 of their new season. It's just like a special episode. So their proper season doesn't start till after Crisis, and he's been filming Legends since episode 1 for this season. I think they're up to episode 4 or 5, and he's still filming. So I think they said he doesn't stop filming Legends, and he doesn't leave until around mid-October. So it seems like his last episode of Legends will be around then, and that's when they're probably going to start filming Crisis maybe. So there's been some theories that he might stay around as Superman, like his Kingdom Come version. I'll be very surprised if that's the case. But one of the other things that's been talked about is, because he's leaving, does this open the door for Ryan Choi, another version of the Atom, to come in? Do they do that? Which would be pretty interesting if they want to go down that route. He was obviously teased in The Flash last season, so maybe keep your eyes out for that. And also, I brought up Guggenheim before, and obviously people have been saying that Arrow only got a season 8 because, Crisis was on, so they needed Arrow to be in Crisis. Now, Mark Guggenheim, who's a consultant on Arrow, and also basically a big part of the crossover, said this about it. Trust me, networks do not do additional episodes of anything just for one event. But let me put it even more succinctly. I can't read. Even if we weren't doing Crisis on Infinite Earths in Season 8, we'd still be doing a Season 8. So, yeah, they basically said that they would do a Season 8, even if Crisis wasn't there, so Arrow wasn't just given extra episodes to fit into Crisis, because as you can tell, Arrow is going to play a massive part in Crisis. Like, it was just like on the side piece, a bit of a side piece there. I guess you could make that claim, but it's a big part of it, so bit of an L if you had that thought in your head that you only got a season 8 because of that, so cop that. And the last thing to talk about actually has to do with Tommy Merlin and possibly him being in Crisis. So TV Line, I think this was in the same thing as that LaMonica Garrett thing. Someone asked, do you have any other scoop on the final season of Arrow? And they went, when we caught up with Colin Donnell at the TCAs, he was a good soldier and didn't spill much about how and as whom he will be involved in the final season. I think it's something that fans maybe have wanted to see for a while, he teased. That's all I'll say. And as for whether he'll be in the crossover, he offered with a grin, there's hope. So I think he will, because I think Crisis is going to have all these different multiverse versions of people, even if it's just for like one scene. I'd expect him in there. I'd be very surprised because this is like the culmination of everything the Arrowverse has been building up to. So I think they're going to try and get as many Arrowverse characters in this crossover, and maybe go out of their way to make multiverse versions of certain characters that maybe weren't superheroes or vigilantes or anything, and make them superheroes or vigilantes just for like one cool thing. So I'd expect, and I think we're going to see a Tommy Merlin Green Arrow in Arrow this season anyway, so yeah. But yeah guys, that's the end of the video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like on it to show your support. Let me know in the comment section down below your various opinions on what we went over in this video, and yeah, if you agree or disagree. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. And yeah, I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.